Yo, what's good, YouTubes? This is your boy in the NYC. It's me, Ray, and this is the EDCCP, that is the Everyday City Carry podcast. I've got a special one coming up right now, not just because Robbie is doing the intro, right? Even though he was just sleeping and I just picked him up and he probably doesn't like this, but because Kelly is the guest for today's episode. Enjoy. Yeah, so what's up, man? Thanks for doing this. My fiance now, right? How's it going, guys? We got Kelly on the podcast today, and we've got some questions from some of the homies on Instagram. No one answered the call. No one answered the call on YouTube when I made a community post. I know I don't do that much, but on Instagram, the questions kept coming. So what's up, Kelly? What's been going on with you? How is this coronavirus affecting you and your job right now?
It's going. So everything is on hold. Everything's on hold except fitness. Fitness is never on hold. So we're doing our at-home workouts, and I'm trying to keep people motivated so they come back to see me after this is done, which is hopefully going to be sooner rather than later.
So you have some interesting stuff going on where you give people like workouts from home, right? And one of the cool things that you told me was you really didn't want to charge like for that at first, right?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of dishonest to take people's money at this time when nobody really knows where their money's coming from.
At least like charge the full amount would be kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Because you need money too, you know, like, yo, we need to eat too, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, starting off, and these are my paying clients, so this isn't like that something that I'm doing for everybody. This is just for people who have paid me and have been with me for a few months. So those are the people that I've kind of given a running start for. But it's something that I'm thinking about helping other people out if it's something that's in demand.
So, you know, we've been playing Borderlands 3 a lot lately. That's kind of like the first video game that you've ever really got into aside from Left 4 Dead, but right. You're more into this one, right? Like, how you feel about it so far?
Well, Left 4 Dead was different because I used to play it live, and it was with one of my really good girlfriends in college.
Left 4 Dead, I'm going to just cut you off just to let people know what it is. Left 4 Dead was a game where you play with up to 4 people, and you're fighting off like zombie hordes, like some Walking Dead situation.
Right. So it's similar to Borderlands 3 because you're still, you know, in a group of 4 and you're still shooting things. So
no, it was really cool. I talked about this on a podcast before where I said that if you were a guy that plays video games, you need to experience having your girl be into the same game as you and you not forcing that game on them, because you literally ask me to play.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't have to be like, yo, let's play Borderlands. You're like, okay, let's play Borderlands right now.
I'm like, what time is it? It's Borderlands time.
Yeah, you didn't even want to do this podcast. Like, you wanted to play Borderlands instead.
Okay, well, that's not fair, because it's not like I was like, you know what I really don't want to do is the podcast. I was just like, you know, it'd be a lot of fun. Borderlands.
I have been trying to get you on the podcast for like, I want to say 3 weeks to a month. I kept saying, oh, I'm going to try to have Kelly on. You know, you guys like it when Kelly are on. For some reason, people like our, video chemistry. I mean, I don't know why. When I'm editing any of the videos we're in together, like even the Sharp Ones episode, the other podcast that we did, I'm like, who the fuck is going to watch this? But that's like some of the favorites is seeing us interact together, man.
Right.
We watched that movie Birds of Prey, and it kind of like, for me, I mean, you thought that I was gonna think that like I wasn't gonna like it, right?
Okay.
Because of the whole like too much SJW, like too much like women movement kind of, you know, feminism kind of thing in it. But I like the movie. Sadly, I found out later, because I'm not a big Birds of Prey fan. I don't read a lot of those DC characters. So Cassandra Crane, the little girl that was in it, it was like this chubby, like Asian girl, which first of all, I thought like she did not do a great job like acting that role out for me. I thought
she was good. She was cute.
Nah, man. You know, you got to rep the Asians a little bit better, yo. No, I'm just playing. No, but in the comics, Cassandra Cain is actually one of the greatest fighters in the DC universe. And a lot of the hardcore comic book enthusiasts were upset that she was like this little girl, like hiding from the bad guys when she could have taken them all out herself, you know? So I can see why the movie kind of got a bad rap. I still enjoyed it overall because, like, Margot Robbie can do no wrong. You know what I mean?
Ever.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
Overall, I just think that DC misses the mark a lot. They had a really powerhouse female cast that could have just owned it. Mm-hmm. And I felt that the story was a little bland, I guess you could say. The story was a little bland. And I mean, it's fun to watch. Like you said, Margot Robbie, I'll watch her in 2 hours just looking back at the camera. I don't care. I just love her. Yeah. But, when you get this powerhouse and you get these Marvel and DC and all these superhero women, you want to see them just kick ass and take names. You know?
Well, they did that in the movie, I think, really well.
They
right?
did it sometimes. It was a slow build. I felt like the so you
thought it was too much talking or something?
Well, it was follow-up to Suicide Squad, right? Yeah. So you have Suicide Squad where they really show how Harley Quinn became Harley Quinn and her love for the Joker. And then after this breakup, all of a sudden, she was just kind of I don't know. She was just, and it took her a while to even get back into like this amazing fighting. So, I think that for me, it kind of was a slow build. Did they eventually get to it? Yes, but was it as epic as I wanted it to be?
Wouldn't it have been like crazier if like Cassandra Cain was this ill fighter?
Yeah.
And then they had this extra person who like defeated so many people in the DC universe. I mean, a lot of the reviews that I watched were like, why did they even have to put that little girl in it? Because they can't even say like that was Cassandra Cain when she was a little kid, because even as a little kid she was already being trained by like Lady Shiva and all these like really like strong martial arts people in DC, like some of the best fighters. So it's kind of like, what the fuck, right?
I mean, that little girl could have been anybody.
They should have just named her like, I don't know, man, like Ling Chen or some shit.
That's fucked up. I knew you were going to say that shit. I was like, he's going to say something
I'm Asian,
with Ling.
I could do that, I'm Asian, yo.
That's rude.
So we went to BJ's the other day, man, to kind of backtrack on the Corona thing a little bit. How are you feeling about it? Are you anxious about what's going on? You've been stuck in the house with me since Monday, basically.
Right.
And, we kind of just been hanging out. I am a real nerd, so I am accustomed to staying home. I can stay home for the rest of my life.
I stand at the window and stare outside and daydream of being outdoors. That's my I get cooped up, and the first thing that I do is watch like house hunters on the beach, like beachfront bargain hunt.
This is our morning ritual, right? I wake up, I listen to my podcasts or whatever, like Tim Dillon, if you guys don't listen to any of his podcasts, you should. He's like covering a lot of Corona stuff, but he's making it like funny, not making fun of the facts, but kind of like just taking a stab at like society, the way it's like reacting to this pandemic.
Absolutely.
But he is giving actual facts though, which I find super interesting about the guy. I listen to that stuff every day. She watches House Hunters like right away.
I put on my headphones, I put on House Hunters.
She blocks out the Corona.
And it's always a beach thing, because in my perfect world, one day I will live by the water. I don't care what type of water, really. I just love the sound of water.
Everyday sand carry. That's going to be me like soon or some shit, In my perfect world, it will be. Yeah.
But we'll be just as wonderful there as we will be here. Just outdoors. Maybe I'll be a little tanner.
Oh, man. So, like, how are you feeling about it, like, being indoors and stuff?
I do okay. You have to remember, I did this for 9 months last year.
That's true, because of her foot surgery.
I had foot surgery last year, and I couldn't do anything. It took me like 2 hours to make one meal just because I was on one foot. So now I'm like, this isn't a big change for me. Besides, now I can walk, and that's a lovely thing to add to it. So
I remember when you were getting surgery, when you had surgery, right? And I would come home, and like I'm the first person you saw like all day. It's so different the way you greet me now. Back then it was like, honey, you're home. It was like how a dog greets you. Like, they're like just always happy to see you. You're
tail wagging, everything.
Yeah. Now it's just like, hey,
I've never
go say hi to your father. Robbie, Frankie, those are our cats. Go say hi to your dad. Dad's home.
I don't ever greet you like that. Ever.
Maybe that's just how I see it in my head.
What's so funny is that the setup for that is when you come in, you don't take your headphones off. So I could actually be talking to you.
Yeah.
You won't respond to me at all, but you will greet both of the cats, walk past me, kind of give a head nod, and then go into the bedroom to change.
Because they don't talk to me.
So I'm like, hey, how was your day? You look nice. Like, I got dinner ready. It's going to be ready in 10 minutes. And you're like...
I'm like this. Because look, like when I come home, right, first of all, I don't sit on the train, right? So I have over an hour ride to get home, and I run up all the stairs that I can, right? Like no matter what. That's kind of like I just add to the cardio.
It's preparation for a zombie apocalypse.
Right. You know, I do that. That's just my routine every day. So when I get home, I'm like maybe a little out of breath. I'm carrying a bag with me. You know, I just stood for over an hour. So I want to get home, take all my clothes off and get dressed. And so the cats, I just say like, what up? You know, give them like pats and stuff, and like they don't really reciprocate like anything.
They greet you at the door. That's reciprocation.
But they don't talk to me. I don't have to think about what to tell them.
As soon as I say anything, he's like, oh God, here goes 20
you know,
questions.
And then I probably have to pee too, so I want to do that first. The 20 questions, yes.
Here's
you know,
20 questions.
The 20 questions. You know what? That's funny. Let's get into that. Speaking of questions, I put out a call onto Instagram and YouTube. YouTube fans, you guys didn't say anything, or I didn't check it before we recorded this. But I do have a few questions here. I asked people if they had any questions for Kelly since we are doing a podcast tonight. This one comes from, I hope I don't butcher any of these names, Carlos Beltran R. What's your favorite go-to meal while staying in? You can go first and I'll go with mine.
My go-to is always the same. It's always fried chicken in the air fryer, homemade potato chips, and spicy mayo.
Is that what we're having tonight?
Maybe. It depends.
On how long this podcast
goes. Chips take a long time to make.
They do. And she makes the bomb chips, yo. That's what got me. You know, when she asked me to marry her, I was like, I can have those chips for the rest of my life, yo. Chips with a dip,
It would have been far more romantic if I had stuck a ring in the chips.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
I have my ring on right now, actually. I'm pretty sure she doesn't.
I don't.
But, so my favorite meal... I come from a third world country, so things like Spam and corned beef is just normal.
Which
to have.
I had for the first time this week, both.
Filipino meals consist of a salty meat, rice, and like maybe egg or something. You know, like pretty not too expensive stuff. So like I made canned corned beef for Kelly with some brown rice and some sunny side up eggs, and I love that. You know, that's an easy meal. One can of corned beef has like 800 milligrams of sodium. It's a lot, but that is an easy meal, very quick. I never get tired of it, man. And Spam and eggs and rice is like another one, you know, for this Corona sort of routine we got going on. Scott Bilgore asks, what is it like to have a relationship with someone shorter than you? Now, I think that he didn't realize that you were shorter than me, so you may have to go into a past relationship for this. Did you ever go out with anyone shorter than you, or like never?
So I have a story about actually like my first blind date in New York.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so I went on this blind date in New York, and I got to this bar. I had no idea where it was, and it was out of my way. All right, and so I get to this bar, and I sit down. It's a really quaint little bar, has a little candle like tea, you know, on the table, the tea light candles. There you go. And I'm just sitting there and waiting, and all of a sudden the door opens, and this is in the fall, and it's dark outside, and there's a street light, and this almost Peter Pan shadow comes straight in past my table, and I look at it and I think, holy God, that looks like Peter Pan, right? And then as this person walks into the bar, the shadow gets smaller and smaller and smaller until a guy who is my size walks into the bar. And then he sees me and comes over, and I realize, oh my God, that is my date. We're the same height. Now, I'm 4'11". All right. Now, to make matters worse.
Like 4'10", I think.
Okay. To make matters worse, he was wearing fingerless gloves, and this killed it for me because now I can never look at fingerless gloves the same way. And the reason is that he was very arrogant, and he talked about himself a lot, and he was tired from his day at work, so he talked to me with his eyes closed half the date, and he's waving his hand, and I kept getting this whisk of vinegar, and I'm like, does his glove smell like vinegar? And then I realized he was over top of vinegar that was on the table, and he was wafting the smell to me. So needless to say, the date finished, and he walked me to the train, and he, like I said, he was very egotistical. In my mind, I'm smiling because I'm singing the Lollipop Guild song because I'm thinking of how funny we look walking down the street.
Yeah. He's shorter than you?
He was my height.
Oh,
exact
shit.
my height.
That's
we
crazy.
get to the train, and he turns to give me a hug, and I refuse. No kissing. Like,
was he over 18?
This dude it was so bad. He gives me a hug. I had to bend over so he could put his arms over my shoulders, right? And so this is how bad he was ego-wise. He texted me when I got home and said, I could tell that you really liked me.
Wow, that's not what you want to do. Take note, guys.
And it was so funny because I realized I did smile the whole time, but it was because I was laughing that our height was the exact same height. And that had never happened to me before. Wow. So that was the best story that I have. Did not date him beyond that, in case anybody's wondering.
This next question is from JT's Knife Life. By the way, guys, JT and I gonna do a podcast next week because he hit up your boy on Instagram and he was like, hey man, I've been getting a lot of like comments and emails and messages saying I should do your podcast. We did it, guys. Yay. We freaking did it. So JT asks, I'm sort of curious how much she actually likes knives and if she just tolerates always being on your Instagram or if she actually likes it. I used to think she didn't care for it, but more and more she seems to be on there willingly.
Interesting. Okay.
So let's start with the first one. How much do you actually like knives?
Do I like knives?
Yeah.
Well, let's be honest about it. It's kind of like when you like something but you know nothing about it. Except knives, I typically cut myself on. So I like the aesthetic side of some of these knives, especially when they get into these cool colors or they have really interesting shapes or designs on it. But I don't know anything about knives other than the pointy end goes towards someone who's trying to hurt you.
See, she's one of those people. She thinks knives are for killing.
No, didn't say killing. I said self-defense. There is a big difference. And when you're from the South,
just cut boxes
that's not,
here.
You cut boxes. Down South, you gut fish. You like clean things with it. There's a lot of hunting knives, right? So I'm from the South, which normally knives are a form of either hunting or self-defense. It's one or the other. So I don't really know anything about it. And I'm sorry if that offends anybody because I don't not like them. I just am a klutz and I'm more likely to hurt myself than I am to...
Do you think they're cool?
I think they're great. I love watching people flick them and they know all these specs about them, and I'm not a spec-spert, as my boyfriend would say.
Dude, I hope that catches on. Gonna get t-shirts. I'm not a spec-spert. That'll be dope. This next question...
Hold on, wait. He had another part.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, JT. See? She keeps me on point. That's why we're a good team. Does she just tolerate you always being on Instagram, or do you actually like it? He thinks that in the beginning you were kind of not too into it, but now you're more and more, you seem more and more willing to do these Instagram videos and YouTube videos with me. So how do you feel about that?
Well, it was weird for me at first because I didn't do a lot of social media. Like Facebook is filled with my family and my family Facebook stalks me. And so I just stopped doing social media a lot. And then I met you and you wanted to put me on everything, and I had to get used to it. So yeah, I would say that it's been a process. I don't mind it very much anymore. In fact, now I'm kind of like, when we go out on Saturdays, because you do so much social media throughout the week. Yeah. Saturdays, you're like, no, it's just for us. And I'm like, no, let's take some video. Let's do some things. Yeah.
Sometimes I do it, but I think recently I try not to do as much on Saturday or the day that we're hanging out, because I kind of just... that's the thing, man. For all you YouTubers out there, it just basically like takes over your life, man.
Yeah, there has to be a balance.
Yeah, like I am constantly thinking about is this thing that is happening at this moment gonna make a good piece of content for any of the various, pieces of social media that I'm on? Like, oh, the cat is doing something silly, like I'm gonna make a TikTok right now, or like, this situation is funny, like I'm gonna tweet about it. You know what I mean? Or this is a good Instagram live, since people like to see what we're doing on our dates. Like I have like a couple that just follows us when we would post on Saturdays a lot. He would just be like, oh, we love watching your dates. It reminds us of like how we were when we were younger. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That's powerful stuff. But I try to keep Saturdays just for us now, since you deal with me just going hardcore for the rest of the week, Well,
and I mean, I don't mind. The one thing that I do like about social media is that we can, like, you have those memories to go back to.
Exactly.
Like, you get to go back and go, oh, remember when we ate at this restaurant? That restaurant was great. Let's go back there. Or we're like, oh, that was such a weird time. We have videos from when I was on crutches. Yeah. And we're both like, oh, man, but we still went out and did things. But one block was so exhausting. And I have videos on, like, my GoPro of me on crutches, like, with people giving me weird looks. Like, why is this girl out on crutches?
All the city shots are, like, shot inside the car. Right?
All
like,
the city shots
we could
inside
never
the car,
walk, But definitely expect more of us, like, doing stuff. Like in the summer, we're gonna be walking more. We actually walked like 4 miles just 2 weeks ago before everything really, really shut down. Right. And we didn't break a sweat, man. Like we could have walked more.
Yeah, we actually made the mistake of starting too far in the middle of the island. So we were walking like from the middle up, and we kind of ran out of space to walk. So that was what ended our walk that day. Yeah.
So this is gonna be kind of like, this is gonna get juicy right now, bro.
All right,
and ready. Of course, it comes from a lot of people's favorites, Super Steel Steve. Maybe you should do a podcast with me, bro, like a super dirty podcast, because I watched some of your videos, and the dude is crazier than me. He's hilarious, though. Super Steel Steve on YouTube, Chef Kalari on Instagram. He asks, where is the weirdest place you've made whoopee? That means...
I know what that means.
Yes, I'm gonna tell mine too.
Oh, like in general, not with you?
Not with me. It could be with anybody. It's a general. Because we definitely have not had sex anywhere.
I was like,
but
man,
at home. So
we have nothing. Like,
just at home. Just at home. But like in your whole dating life.
I'm from the South, and there's a lot of outdoors activities. Yeah. So the hood of a car.
See, I've never gotten to experience that since I lived in New York City since '87.
Well, I'm trying to get you to move outside of the city, and then we can find all the cars you want. All right, we should probably own the cars, though.
Nothing too crazy. I think like at a beach one time, we snuck on in this beach called Lido Beach. It's in New York, but it's like not open to the public. But there's like a way to get through it. And then my boy Fook John, his name is he's Fukanese. That's like a certain kind of Chinese. And he used to be as skinny as me. He moved to Colorado, and he just became a giant. Like he was on wrestling, and maybe he's on them stims. You know what I mean? But just think Mike Tyson, but Chinese. He has the voice. There's a story that people tell me. He went to Dwayne Reed and he was trying to buy syringes, and he just puts these syringes on the counter. He goes, I want to buy 20 syringes. Anyway, this guy Fook John, he drives to the beach, right? And it was like, we do the beach thing, and then like there was a shower, and then like me and my ex at the time, like we didn't even like do it that long. It was kind of weird, man.
Gotta tell you, that sounds awful to any female that's listening.
What?
There's certain places in your body you don't want.
No, but it was at the shower though.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Right, so like enough. It was at the showers, and no one was around.
This whole fantasy that guys have about doing things on the beach, no girl has that fantasy.
No? I'm a pretty boring. I'm pretty vanilla now. Like those wild days are over, I'm almost 40 and shit. Thanks for that, Super Steel Steve. You got that out of
You're
us.
You're
welcome. And maybe I got head in an elevator one time. That's probably the only other thing.
No.
Big Red EDC. All right, this is going to be some wholesome questions now, because Big Red is my homie, a very wholesome guy. We love him here on EDCC. What is Ray's most endearing quality?
So Ray, as most of you know, is quite the personality. But he has a really good sense of knowing when something is actually wrong. So
like when I do something wrong?
No,
or?
just in general with me. Like I'll actually say, so the thing that most people don't know is that you're very logical. So there are times where you just don't have feelings.
Capricorn.
Yep.
Just super cold logical.
Very cold and logical. And if I say, hey, I really need empathy right now and I need you to stop and listen to me, he will actually do it. And that is a very hard quality to find in somebody.
I'm like Spock from Star Trek. I'm half Vulcan and I'm half human, so I can be empathetic, but most of the time I'm a robot.
Most of the time, yeah, and you call it the robot.
The Raybot, yeah. You know, that's definitely how I am. No, I just, you know what it is? I think I learned how to do that probably like being with you. I was always too cold, you know, in my previous relationship. So with you, I kind of just learned like something is off right now. But you know, even though you don't say anything, I'm like, I better go see what's going on. Yeah, like I better go see what's going on. And then like I just turned you around, you're like crying. I'm like, are you okay?
But I think that's the difference is that Ray and I both come from different backgrounds. So Ray, you've always been in relationships. You've been in very long relationships, and I've been chronically single for 32 years until I met you. So it's easy for me to say, hey, this is what I need. And the best part about our relationship is that we both will make that balance. So we kind of match each other. So when you need something, I kind of rise to that occasion, and when I need something, you rise to the occasion.
Holy crap! Is this a new dating podcast? Is that what we're doing?
It's wonderful.
All right. And then is Ray always this funny?
He thinks he is. That's the easiest thing to do.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so let me tell you a fun story.
Okay.
The fun story is that Ray thinks he's a comedian, and he only listens to comedians, and he listens to all these podcasts by comedians. But I'm actually pretty funny, and whenever I make a joke, he'll immediately go, babe, no.
Hey, sometimes I think you're hilarious, some of the things.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm really funny. Like, I'm funny. You laugh.
I didn't say that you weren't. There are some times when I'm just dying laughing sometimes.
He hates my dad jokes, though. You know, I love dad jokes.
I love dad jokes.
Dad jokes are my favorite.
Just not yours.
Just not
So,
yours.
like, I'm not always funny then.
No, but he's pretty funny.
Yeah, but my family is like that though, right? Everyone's kind of cracking jokes. I will say this: it's more
amusing to watch him try to be funny than anything else.
I bomb a lot.
He does, but he still goes for it, and that's a very endearing trait.
Like if I'm gonna make a tweet that's kind of like dark, you know, because I love dark comedy. That's my favorite.
He does, yes.
So, you know, things like just really dark stuff, like gonna go outside, you know, run into a bus today, like stuff like that. Like, you know, that's the kind of shit that I like. That's why I love Tim Dillon, because he does social commentary about politics and you know, Corona, whatever's going on, and he makes it like funny but like dark. You know, I love that.
Well, I think the thing about Tim Dillon is that he also is pretty well educated.
Yeah.
And when he speaks, his jokes are funny because they have this backing to it, which can be very overwhelming at times. So sometimes he just takes something that people have said that they've speculated and he just blows it completely out of proportion, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he is much funnier than some of your other comedians that you watch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, he is my favorite though. He is my favorite.
He's wonderful.
So the last question from Big Red is, what is it like seeing New York so empty?
It's you know, I don't think that it's different, because I've been in New York where it's like, you know, it's Sundays, it's quiet, there's not a lot of people around. The difference is the feeling of it, of feeling like when I was out on Monday and I was going to work, it was knowing that everybody feels uncomfortable. So you see everybody kind of distancing themselves, and, you know, we're all on high alert. And I think that that's what's really uncomfortable about the city right now, being as empty as it is.
Yeah, for me, man, on Sunday I went to work, and this is the first time I saw 3 train cars, the 2 next to mine and my car, completely empty for like until I got to like maybe 42nd Street Grand Central,
That's
which is
4
several
stops.
Yeah, I mean it's long stops, and there's usually a lot of people coming in, which is really weird. And you know, I've mentioned this in videos and podcasts before. It feels weird, man, you know, being well, I mean, technically, according to the government, I'm a Pacific Islander now, since I'm from Manny Pacquiao country, the Philippines.
Congratulations.
But you know, I'm still Asian. I'm a Southeast Asian, Pacific Asian. And it's weird the way people look at me, man, you know, because I usually wear my glasses when I'm outside. You know, you're wondering, I can tell people are side-eyeing me and like wondering if I'm Asian or if I'm like Latino, and, you know, and I want to tell them like, look, I'm kind of a little bit of both, like, you know what I mean? But they're definitely looking at me and kind of acting different towards me. No one wants to stand next to me, things like that. I haven't even been out of the country in dumb long, dude. You know what I'm saying?
It's a tough time.
Yeah, that's kind of just the weird thing, is the atmosphere is really odd.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird time.
I think one of the only other times that I could kind of compare it to was Y2K. I left home officially for the first time. I was like 18, you know, packed my bags and moved to Jersey right before Y2K hit. And there was no one, yo. There was no one out at all. But the vibe was different again. It was kind of like, is the world going to end because this Y2K bug or whatever? But nothing happened. But this time something's actually happening. That's the weird thing.
Yeah.
This next question is from Mr. Old Man. What's the first thing you'd do if you became queen of the world?
Ooh.
Everyone does jazz hands.
I'd get a golden retriever puppy.
She's been dying to get that pup.
One day I'm gonna have a golden
Watching
retriever.
Joe Rogan's puppy, Marshall.
I'm obsessed with Marshall. I mean, really, I have a good reason for wanting a golden retriever puppy. So, you know, I mean, I grew up next to a golden retriever, and I want a golden retriever because of that, but also because I had major back surgery when I was 12, and I was in the hospital. I wasn't doing well. Like, it was very painful, and I cried a lot. And on the third day, they wanted me to get up and walk, and I just couldn't do it. I was a mess. And they brought in a golden retriever, and that was it. I was like, screw it. I got to play with the dog. And I got up and I walked, and I want this golden retriever because I want to train it, and I want to be able to take it to hospitals, and I want to give that same thing back to other people.
Plus, I think a golden would be the best fit with like the boys, you know, like Frankie and Robbie.
Golden retrievers do great with rag dolls, and just they're wonderful dogs, and I just want to be able to pay it forward.
I've never had one, so I know they're awesome.
I mean, I had the best setup when I was a kid. My neighbors owned a golden, and they would feed the dog, they'd take care of her, and then she came to my house and she'd wait on the back porch for me to play with her. So all I did as a child was I went and I played with her, and I played with her, and I played with her, and I loved her. Her name was Echo, and that will be the name of my golden retriever because she was the best dog ever. I mean, she really was wonderful. And so one day, if I was queen, the first thing would be as a golden retriever.
I can't believe that's the first thing. I thought it was going to be something like I would force prisoners to like dance musicals like they do in the Philippines. No. Like they'll do Thriller. Like you ever seen those videos of the Filipino...
Like a flash mob of prisoners.
Yeah, they do that in the Philippines. They make you like do dances and shit. Like I thought that's what it would be.
The first thing, because it has to be the first thing.
Okay.
The first thing I would do.
Okay, so that is the first thing.
That would be the first thing that I would do. Everything beyond that, puppy. First thing I would do.
Puppy.
Then I would fix things, you know?
Also, what do you think of me having so many knives? Like, does that like bother you?
So when I first saw the knife collection, I was like, this is a bit excessive. But then we got this organizer, and it's like, all right, cool.
I remember when I first told you, like, oh yeah, I'm a YouTuber. I only had like maybe 400, maybe 500 subs at that time.
Yeah.
And you were like, why folding knives?
I mean, well, it's so funny because on our first date, and you're like, and I do YouTube and I review folding knives. And like, what the hell do you say to that? You're like, why? Like, how does one get in? What do you do with these? I cut boxes.
Yeah.
What kind of conversation are we having right now?
Do you kind of get it a little more now though, since you've like played with a bunch?
I mean, look, our first date was
it's like a different quality though, right? I mean, when you see the knives that
now
you've
I
seen
see them
before,
and I'm like, this is really cute.
Yeah, and then I'm like, hey, you want to see what $365 feels like? And then I give you this crazy thing from Russia, and you're like, what the fuck?
And I'm like, man, this is cool texture.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So,
like I said, I still don't understand a lot of it. You're like, this is 300 cents, and I'm like, I don't know what that means.
You know what's funny is like neither do I. Like I have a marginally like more knife intelligence when it comes to the whole thing than you do, because I really have not learned much. You know, I really have not learned much. I'm as passionate about it as the next guy, but I definitely have not learned much.
But you know, that's I think what makes it endearing is the fact that, you know, at first you go, well, why is that your hobby? But then when you see that somebody cares about it, and I saw the effort and the work that you put in, and you're not violent, because of course the first thing that you think of when somebody says I review folding knives is you go,
it's like, you jacking fools, yo.
Are you psycho?
Know what I'm saying?
Are you gonna kill me in your sleep? Or in my sleep? So wait. So anyways, no, it's seeing that it is a harmless love and a true passion is just, cool.
Yeah, I think it's weird when I think about if my skills as running this channel would translate like going out and freelancing, and it really doesn't, man. Like, it really doesn't. Like, I am getting better at this stuff,
right?
And I definitely got my flow going. I don't have to work as hard because things just come so naturally now. I know what the people who watch this channel want, and man, the supporters have definitely stepped up. I gotta thank everybody who's done that. I'm gonna forget names, I'm sure. Bob B, Mild Mannered EDC, Blade Brigade NY, Mark from Me With Knives, Seems Logical, probably the best commenter on YouTube. If I forgot some names, I'm really sorry, but I'm definitely thinking of you because you are the people who has kept me wanting to do this channel, man. Because as you know, I'm not making any money out of this. I've kind of been fighting with myself if I'm going to monetize or not, or if I'm going to do Patreon, because if I monetize, I might not be able to show you some of the cool things, like cool clips that I normally do, So I got to think about it like that. And I'm thinking about it, but the reason why I keep doing it is not for the money. I clearly love making videos and, seeing what people think about it.
But I'd like to point out that the actual term that you just said, that you figured it out so you don't have to work as hard as you used to. You work just as hard, just in a completely different way.
Correct.
So it used to be finding the right lighting and figuring out, what looks best where. And that was really what you focused on, and how to put these videos together. And now it's just naturally coming to you. But you're working harder than you were when we first started dating.
I think it's more personality driven, the channel now. Less emphasis on a lot of editing. Although I do edit still, it's more like personality driven and me connecting with the people that watch it, which I like way more,
Right.
People asked for you to be on.
Thanks, guys.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people asked for you to be on. Congratulations came when you proposed to me. Let's talk about that first a little bit, actually, right?
Okay.
So, how did you go about like thinking of doing this, like, declaration of love, as they say?
Okay, well, we've had multiple conversations about, life together and what we want and where we're going. And leap years are special years, especially if you're Irish. So, if you know anything about a leap year, it's the one time that women are allowed to propose. Like, the 29th is kind of that special day where you can if you want. And I just thought that it would be great. So we joked around, and you've always said, you know what, I'm so busy doing all of my stuff that I'm probably going to forget to propose. So if it's something that you want to do, then you better do it yourself, right? And you'd always joke, and then you'd be like,
I'm that guy with the fingerless gloves. You ask me to marry you.
Right? And so all those little things added up, and I just decided, it was actually about a week and a half before, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to back out. And so I called my parents, and I was like, look, this is what I'm going to do. I just want you to know in advance. My mom and dad were both like, all right. Cool. Did you think it through? Awesome. Like, my mom's like, well, your dad's a little sad that, Ray isn't going to be asking him for his... And I was like, look, relax. Like, it's going to be a while before we get married. It's kind of like a long engagement, if you will.
Yeah, I think people don't understand. They ask me, like, when are you going to get married? I'm like, no, I think she was just trying to let me know, like, yo, this is where I'm at, and it'd be cool if you're here. And I'm like,
well, the thing is first off, it's hard to get married if you're broke. So I just changed jobs, and Ray just changed jobs, and it's a struggle right now to do with basic living, and there's not a reason to run out and to spend thousands of dollars for a declaration for other people to come and celebrate us when we celebrate us every day.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't believe in Valentine's Day, even though.
Yeah, that kind of sucks for me, but I get over it.
I don't believe in it because I think you should be kind to each other every day.
But we do. We put so much time and effort into each other, at least, and I always harp once a week.
I give her that one day.
Once
the rest of the week is for you guys. Just letting you know that. The rest of the week, for you guys.
To be fair,
but Saturday,
I make you give me like 10 minutes a day. On
Saturday,
minimum.
Yes, queen. That's what happens.
Yeah, yes, queen.
And I just hit the mic right there.
Yeah, there you go. So I just decided that we were gonna do it, and so
how did you do it?
I told you that I was gonna take you out.
Yes.
So I said we're gonna go out. I get to plan the day. We went to
I didn't
burgers.
think anything of that.
He
okay,
thought nothing of it.
She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna plan something on Saturday," and I'm like, "Okay," because in my mind, I'm like, "Oh, I don't have to think about what to do.
Yep.
I'm just gonna follow along."
Yeah, and so I thought, you know what? I really liked that little ambiance in this little burger bar joint that we went.
Yeah,
and it had almost like a beachy feel to it. And so you happened to be like, I'd really like to have food at that place, and I was like, ironic, I'm taking you there. So we go, and everything's great. We finish there, and then we go to the coffee shop across the street.
Lelo. Yeah, Lelo, not lay low. Like a G, like Lelo, a little fancier.
Yeah. And so you're like, oh my god, I'm so full, and I was like, good, we'll take some chocolate covered strawberries, and you're like, why would you do that?
First of all, she was getting dressed up mad hard, right? like wearing like such nice stuff, and I'm like wearing what I normally. This is how I dress all the time.
Yes.
I wear like a black jacket, black jeans, some kind of printed tee or something.
Yep.
And I either tie my hair or I wear a hat.
And ironically,
so every day I'm like that.
Yeah. My cousins had hit us up, my cousin and my aunt, and said, "Hey, we're going to be in town, and do you guys want to have dinner that night?" So I had already planned all this stuff, and then they were coming into town, so it gave me an in to convince you to look nice. So the whole time that I dressed up, he thought I was dressing up for my family.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I'm wearing this cute dress, and I got this coat on over it, and I'm like, wear your cashmere sweater that you got for
like,
Christmas.
what the fuck?
And he's like, why would I do that? So
I'm like, okay.
These strawberries come out, and we're sitting in this like kind of isolated little bar by the window, and I just was like, we got to talk. There's something's on my mind. We got to talk about something.
And I was like this. I was like, fuck, I'm in trouble. Like, I did some shit. Because, like, me, I'm a robot. Like, I don't know if I've done something. And then sometimes she'll just be like, that was kind of fucked up what you did. And then I'll apologize for it,
Yes, that happens.
And I was like, oh, what did I do? And then I was like, what, do you want to marry me or something? I was joking, because I always joke around about that. And she was like... I
just literally said, yes, I do. So, will you marry me?
And dude, let me tell you right now, I was waiting for the punchline, right? I was like, is this punked? Is Ashton Kutcher gonna come out right now? Have I become a celebrity? Because I was waiting for the punchline to happen. Like, no, I'm just kidding. I just got you a ring. Like that. But no, it didn't come. So I was kind of nervous myself, to put in that situation. And I was like, sure. I just put the ring on, it was a sweet moment and all that. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. But that was his answer. Sure. And I was like, yep, let's be true to form. Dude. But that's us. We're laid back, and we laugh about stuff, and we have a good time.
There you go, man.
It didn't need to be sweet. And then I had dancers come out and throw roses at your face.
Oh, that would have been dope, though. But,
He would have been so embarrassed.
Yeah. Imagine, all my friends were there. JT's like, hello out there. Congratulations. I'm like, oh, shit. All right, let's go back.
Too late, JT.
Let's go back to the questions. We got a couple of more. Mild-mannered EDC, thank you, by the way, for sending the Firmforge exec. He sent that in. These are the questions from him. What hobbies do you pursue?
Let's see, what are my hobbies besides working out? So that is my main hobby, but now also my form of income. So I don't know if that's still a hobby. I like to play the ukulele sometimes.
Dude, you have no idea. Well, this is my face when she was like, hey, I'm going to learn how to play the ukulele. And I'm like this. Like, what? Out of all the instruments, dude.
I'm a tiny person. It's only fitting that I have a tiny guitar.
That makes sense, actually, man. Because a big guitar would be taller than
all right,
me.
But think about it. So I'm small. I like the ocean. and it's actually a ukulele, is from Hawaii, right? So it has that kind of tropical feel to it. It all ties together.
Interesting.
So I like that. I like singing.
Kelly's a singer.
That's one of the things that I like to do.
She's a singer.
And
She's slayed on karaoke.
I like to cook. I'm not...
And you're into Borderlands now.
And I like Borderlands.
Which is awesome.
I just like being outside, in all honesty. So if I can be outside, I'm happy. Or I stand at the window and longingly stare out.
The next question is, what's her background? You can perceive that as you wish. I don't know what...
all right.
I don't know what that really...
So I am from Raleigh, North Carolina, originally. I moved here 10 years ago.
So she's pretty much jaded New Yorker now.
I'm kind of. I'm a very good 50-50. I can survive in the city and I dream of being outside of the city. When I'm outside of the city, I dream about being in the city. I'm pretty 50-50. I have a degree in acting, which I do not use.
That is insane.
Yes, I have a bachelor's degree in acting.
That's crazy, right, guys?
Yes. So there is, if you want to talk about probably not well-chosen degree to have, I am thinking about where I'm going to go, which may be another. So if I decide to go back to school, it'll be in health and fitness. But as to backgrounds, I was very outdoors related when I was a kid. I like kayaking. I like being outside, hiking. In the city, I like walking through the city.
All cool shit.
Yeah.
I would totally love to do any of that.
Yeah.
Although I am deathly afraid of swimming. Although I do swim. I almost drowned when I was a little kid. And I always tell you guys I watch Jaws way too early. Yeah. So any body of water that I'm in and I have to submerge myself, including a large bathtub, I always think a shark is going to get me.
Yes,
or a crocodile or something.
I don't swim in pools at night, but that's also
fucking scary.
That's also because animals fall into pools, and that's just one of those things that kind of freak me out.
Also, I was on a rowboat on a lake upstate New York at nighttime, and looking down in the water, we took a glow stick and then we threw it in the lake to go all the way down, and you can just see this bright thing go, and then I was imagining a shadowy figure would just swipe it and shit. I was like, yo, let's go back.
And then all of a sudden you saw, what is it, Betty White feeding the large croc in Lake Placid, and you were like, we gotta get out of here.
Let's see. Does the public nature of what you do bother her? Well, you answer that kinda, it does not, right?
No.
Not anymore. Okay. And favorite embarrassing race story? I know my favorite embarrassing thing
you go
with
for it.
you.
Okay.
You don't have one?
I'm going to think of one.
Okay. Mine is... I don't know what we did before. We were in the bedroom. I was definitely in my underwear, right?
Okay.
I don't know if we just woke up from sleeping or something, or, we were slapping skins or whatever. I don't remember really, because my memory is just terrible. But I put my foot down on the ground and I feel something squishy, right? And I'm like, what the And then I'm bare feet. I have bare feet. I don't have socks on or anything. I look at my feet, yo. And there was just cat shit, all over my feet. And my reaction was just this, literally. Ah! 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 She's like, are you okay? She's laughing. Ah! Ah! And I made her wash my foot, yo, in the bathtub. And that was early on in our relationship. That's probably my favorite. It was hilarious. I wasn't that upset by it, but I just, made the screams to make a memory. That was fucking so funny,
I think that you were waking up in the morning.
Yeah. I remember I was just in boxer briefs, that's what I remember.
No, you had a shirt on.
I did?
Yeah.
I was ah! And had to hop to the bathtub.
I had no idea what had happened. All that I know is all of a sudden he's holding his foot and screaming, and then I saw the shit all over the place.
That was so funny. Do you have one?
No, I don't feel like I have many. Do we have many embarrassing
stories? Not really.
Stories?
I don't think so. I think that was one that we had together that was pretty good.
I mean, that one was
our life is boring,
hilarious,
but great.
But I mean, it's not necessarily that. It's that I just don't know that I've been super Embarrassed. I don't know.
That's so cool, man.
That's, yeah, if I think of something, I'm coming back to it.
The last question is from my homie Daily Carry Solutions. He said, LOL, yes, how do you deal? I don't know what that means. I think he means, how do you deal with me?
Yes, that would be what I would take it as. It's a day at a... No, I'm just kidding.
That's fucked up.
That's hilarious. No, really, it's... Ray and I have a good type of relationship because both of us have our own things going on. And so we kind of just meet up and it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And then we both kind of support each other and keep going. You know, we make enough time for each other each week. If I don't get enough time, I complain and he stops what he's doing because he doesn't want to hear me complain.
Yeah.
So
that is definitely the reason.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
Every time, if she gets upset ever, which she doesn't get upset that much at me,
no.
I'm always like, what is going to make you happy? That's what we're doing. All right. Because I want out of this. Whatever's going on right now, I want out of this. You know, because I always want things to be tranquil. You know, I'm a logical dude, man. So I always...
He says logical, but, you know, it's his logic. So
like I always want to find a solution right away.
Yeah, but you have a male-dominated logic.
Really?
Which is not... The females do not see that as logical. We see it as black or white or right or wrong is another way to say it.
Yep.
And you're just like, nope, this is the logical side. And I always just go, yeah, all right, cool, that's the logical side.
That's how you deal with me then.
Yeah, just, you know, in all honesty, we don't have any, we really don't fight a lot. Even when we don't agree on something, we talk it out and then you'll go, God, I don't know why we're fighting about this. And it'll be like a normal conversation where I'll be like...
Pretty boring. I'm just kidding.
This is what I think. And you'll be like, this is what I think. And then you'll go, I hate that we're fighting about this. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean fighting?
Like anytime there's tension, I'm like, why are you fighting with me? She's like, I just asked you a question. No, we really don't have... I've been in relationships where like things were really volatile and we would like scream at each other. You know, like threats of calling cops on each other, like crazy shit, like stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's nothing even close to that. Not even a fraction of that has happened.
I think that
it's very tranquil.
We've yelled maybe at each other one time.
Yeah, I think you were like, go fuck yourself. One time.
I did say that. One time I was like, go fuck yourself.
I think that was like,
and that's
maybe
when you know that I'm really
2.5 months into the relationship.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, especially if I emphasize the word fuck. That's when you know that you've done something wrong.
She's saying it like she was all tough, but she was like this. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, but there's still an emphasis on fuck.
The next thing is, are things quiet over there? And I guess we talked about this already. You know, things are quiet in New York City, man. But we keep moving on. We keep chugging along. And I'm going to keep making more content. I've got 2 unboxings to do.
And we can also kind of do podcasts throughout the weeks, you know. I'm okay. It's not like I'm doing anything now.
If you guys have like suggestions, you want us to talk about a topic together, if you like this sort of format that we have, I find it really fun to have a person guest on the show, like in person. I'm sure you guys have noticed the uptick in audio and video quality, even though I have a guest, because I've figured it out, dude. I've figured it out. We got the 2 mics, you know, I probably just need another mic stand for Kelly, and we got the 2 headphones, we got everything.
Not that tall, I'm okay.
You know, but it's just better, and I wouldn't mind just touching on a topic that you guys would want, maybe a quick 15-minute thing. Totally down for that. Before we... you know, let's talk about Beastars. So there's a show on Netflix. I've slowly been introducing Kelly to anime, right? Mm-hmm. Fellow nerds, okay? Fellow anime nerds, you know, even video game nerds, you gotta introduce them slowly, okay? I remember we were at this anime party at a nightclub. very weird event, but cool because I get to be with my fellow nerds. I am a cool nerd, I feel.
Wait, we were?
We were there, yes, with JC, remember?
That wasn't an anime party.
It was.
Was that an anime party?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was like a Comic-Con-ish.
It was a Comic-Con-ish, but there's a lot of anime characters there.
There were a lot of
Nerds have won, you know what I mean? This is our time. But I asked people what is like the first anime that I should show her. And dude, some of these answers were like fucking so out there. Like, show her Naruto for the first time. I'm like, she's not gonna get that. She's not gonna get that. You know, and people are like, show her Gundam Wing. I'm like, no, she's not gonna get robots fighting in space. But this show, Beastars, it's on Netflix right now. I've been dying to watch this show, okay? Just imagine a world where animals are the ruling class. Haven't seen a human in it yet. I don't think human beings exist. They are walking on, the two legs upright. They are different classes of carnivores, prey animals, herbivores, things like that. And carnivores can't eat like actual living. You can't even eat meat. Actually, they can eat eggs and stuff. That's like one of their favorites. But it's like a high school drama basically, except they're animals. So when a kid, right, this kid Legoshi, right, that's the main character. He's like a gray wolf, tall, very powerful, right? Likes another girl. He gets these teenage feelings within him. But he also has to worry about the animal side. Like, he can smell her. He can, like, sense what she's feeling. But he doesn't know what he's feeling himself. And that was sort of the anime that took me by surprise that Kelly was going to like. Because we finished that shit in like 2.5, 3 days. Yep. There's only 12 episodes. They're only 22 minutes each. If you want to get into an anime, that's it, man. What did you think about it?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. They did a really good job blending, like, the animal side with making it so that it wasn't super weird. Like, you're watching it and you're going, all right, that's a deer, but he has 5 fingers, right? He has a hand. And like, lions have hands, but they make like the wolves with the hands with long nails, right? And so they gave human characteristics to each of these animals, which made it very interesting to watch. And it was very captivating.
It was definitely weird, right?
Well,
it was weird, but like the animation.
You thought it was weirder than I did. I didn't find it weird at all.
Yeah. No, I liked that. I liked it about it. Like, it was an odd way of just telling this story. Also, like, the animation is some of the best that you're gonna see for a 12-episode anime show. I really urge people who have never watched anime before to maybe try this one out. If you like drama, it's not. It's like an adult version of Zootopia if it took place in like high school. And there's blood and people get bitten and shit in it. You're dealing with like actual teenage emotions, but then how would they be if it was a animal on top of it? I thought it was a really interesting show. I mean, it was really captivating. I really liked it. We couldn't get enough of it, man. There were certain people that I was like, I don't like her personality. Like the way they portrayed how a wolf identifies smells, it was like different colors and he was taking it in, and then they would show the inside of his brain, how it's acting up. Right. Just like the way that they did the animation is some of the best I've seen this year, man. And if you want something that you're gonna want, I didn't even know why I liked it, because I don't like these high school drama type shows, but they gave me just enough of these animal instincts, like oh man, he could really kill that person, you know what I mean, he could lose it and kill that person. Like, they gave me enough of that I just wanted to keep watching it, man. We finished it like in 3 days. It was really, I really enjoyed it. Before we head out, I'm gonna take these knives that I put aside here, and I think people will like this. Oh no! There were a lot of knife questions with the submissions and stuff. So we're gonna have you try and flip these knives and just see which one you like the best. Maybe talk a little bit about each one. You've seen some of them. Okay. All right. So I know that I like this one. So this one is, and I can't even get it to flip. There you go. That is the Steel Wheel Kobold that was given to me by Slicey Dicey. Do you like that one?
This one is one of my favorites. Yeah, if I carried knives, I would probably carry this one. And that's just because it is so small, so it doesn't look huge in my hand if I needed to use it.
Yeah.
And I'm not as likely to cut myself, although I still am pretty likely to cut myself.
So this one is the QSP Penguin, just two-hand opening it because it's really hard to open.
That's what I'd say. This one is beautiful.
This was anodized by Anything Knife Related on Instagram or Brian Wallace on YouTube.
So in case anybody's wondering about this knife specifically, it has a blade on one side and then not a blade on another side.
Jesus. This is one of the new ones that you haven't seen yet. You could just slow roll it.
Yeah, I was about to say,
if you want. That is the QSP Penguin with denim micarta.
I mean, it's really cool.
What do you like about it? You like it?
I mean, yeah. This is, first off, I like the blade shape.
The sheep's foot or Warncliffe, I think. Very yummy. Is that what you said?
It's unique.
I thought you said it's very yummy. I want to eat it.
It's a very interesting blade shape.
And then the liner lock is right there. That's her being a YouTuber. It's a very interesting blade shape.
It's a very interesting blade shape. The denim is just stunning on this. Oh my God. But I don't like the clip. It doesn't go deep enough. Who am I?
That is not what I sound like. Don't like the pocket clip, bro. That's me. And this is, you got to be very careful with this one. This is a Custom Knife Factory.
All right, well, let it go.
Morph 5, sent in by Bob B.
Ooh, one try.
Yeah. So how does that one feel, the action, compared to the other three?
This one feels light, ironically, and it's so big.
Yeah.
But
how was the action? It's like smooth,
the
right?
Best. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I can't say that. The other two weren't.
It opens the best. Careful.
Watch your fingers.
One cool thing that I really like about this is if you look at the carbon fiber and the titanium, the ridges line up.
They do.
That's so fucking hard. Because they have to cut this separately from this.
Really?
Yes. That's why this is $365. Even the back, everything lines up.
Yeah, it does.
So there's just a lot of cool things. Out of these four, which do you like the best for you?
Well, obviously, I'm tiny. I like the tiny one the best.
She went with the Steel Wheel Kobold.
I can't help it, guys. I'm small.
That's hilarious.
I mean, how stupid would I look walking around with this? I mean, this is for somebody with a big hand, right? Like,
I would definitely not walk around with this.
And we would, of course, be arrested immediately.
It's just too big, but I'm a fan of these kinds of knives. It's like I understand their place in the industry because when you played with so many knives like most knife guys do, right? And you flip one of these, you're like, okay, I can see why that is so expensive. Right. And while I couldn't afford something like this, props to Custom Knife Factory, man, because this is like absolutely amazing. It feels good in the hand, everything. I'm going to do more videos about it. But yeah, so the Steel Wheel Kobold wins the show.
If that one
Thank you, Slicey Dicey.
If that one had this coloring, I would be in heaven.
Steel will work on that, get a titanium version so we can get it anodized, and then she will carry that.
And then I'll carry it, and I don't know what for. I'm going to be like, hey, you need to cut that box?
You need to cut that box, bro?
I've got a knife.
Are those resistance bands not untying? You know what I'm saying? At Equinox?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I certainly had fun doing this.
Me too.
It was very easy. I think there was a little bit of hesitation in the beginning because, I know my girl, she's not used to being on camera, but she does really appreciate it when, you guys just say like, I hope Kelly feels better and things like that. During her whole surgery, I do tell her what you guys say and, that you guys love having her on. So if you are a fan of this kind of format, just shout me out in the comments or DM me on Instagram, email me at everydaycitycarry@gmail.com, tweet me, EDC Carry, TikTok me, whatever you want, just to tell me like, hey, it'd be cool if you and Kelly talked about this. That would be one thing I think that you guys would like. But we are gonna close out right now. This is the EDCCP.
That's Everyday City Carry Podcast.
It's Ray and Kelly saying peace. Yo, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell icon so we can squad up in the comments.